name is Ashley Hill. I am your college success coach, and today I'm so excited. We're going to be talking about a very, very, very important topic that's personal to me. And, it's a topic that parents, unfortunately, we don't talk enough about, I don't think. I don't think there's enough exposure to this particular area. And, yes, there is a connection to why you need to be aware of this topic, to discuss with your teens, to work with them, as they prepare to go to college. And so that's why I wanted to bring it up today. So first of all, welcome to the show. This is College Prep Radio, coming to you every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And today's topic is the one college prep tip that you need to know right now, and literally right now. But before I jump into it, give me a call, area code 347-857-4638. To share your thoughts, ask questions, chime in. Again, that's area code 347-857-4638. And for those of you, this is your first time listening, as I mentioned, I am a college success coach. I work with college-bound teens and families to get them ready for the college experience, the college environment. And as you will hear me say many, many, many times, it truly is a partnership. And so, parents, this show is for you. And by partnership, what does that mean? I mean that not only is it the student, that's obviously the student is actually applying to college, but the student is involved in the preparation process to go to college. The parents, you guys have to be involved. That's family members, that's grandma, aunts, uncles, aunties, cousins, sister, brothers, nephew, uncle, all the family members, that comes under that umbrella. Also, you have to have the educators. They're the ones who are providing the environment for students to learn and acquire more knowledge, to prepare for the academic requirements on a college campus and in college courses. But also I like to throw in this fourth group, and that's the community. That's our community leaders. That's our pastors. That's, if you go to your synagogue or your nonprofits who work with youth. All of those members, they are part of the partnership. And I believe that when the partnership is all working together, that's truly when I believe, that, students, parents, your students can be successful. So, as I said in the beginning of the show, I want to get into a very, very important topic. I want to jump into it right now. And what I want to talk about today is the subject of teen dating relationships, and particularly the issues. And bigger than that, we'll broaden the scope, is toxic relationships. That involves dating, that includes friendships as well. So I want to jump into that, and I want to talk about why this is important, parents, what you need to know that's going on, trends you need to be aware of, and most importantly, how you can help your teens to, navigate through, these potential roadblocks, because they are affecting your teens every day. The potential is there. And so in case you didn't know, yes, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, but this is also Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And I want to jump into that and explain that when you say the word domestic violence, of course, that for a lot of people indicates that there was physical violence. But today I want to talk about what I call the invisible wounds, and that is verbal abuse, that's emotional abuse, that's psychological abuse, mental abuse. Those are types of abuse that, no, you won't see visible scars, but they can certainly cause mental trauma. They can lead to depression, clinical depression, unfortunately even suicide, for some cases, depending on the severity of the abuse. And so I really want to get into that because, it's happening today, parents. Let's face it, as I always say, let's say it is what it is. And let's define what's going on. And so the truth of the matter is this is happening everywhere. There are, your teens, and they may not share with you. And that's why I'm going to share my story with you today. That, your teens, you think they're going out to the mall and you're having a good time and they're with their friends, or perhaps they're dating. When you're not there, parents, you don't know what's being said. And your child, their future, here is at stake because, particularly with verbal abusers, when you say things intentionally, cruel things, you're cyberbullying, you're trying to belittle, the other person, that damages your self-esteem and your self-worth, and that can lead to, self-destructive behaviors. That can lead to drinking, alcohol, smoking, promiscuity, teenage pregnancy. So parents, it can lead criminal behavior. So parents, this is really a large issue that I want to get awareness out about, and this is why I want to talk about it. But I want to jump into my story. So, I was raised in a military home, but a loving home, and I say that because, my parents esteemed me. I didn't have to worry about, where my father was, where my mother was. They were very involved parents. I saw that they had, they had at the time and still do have today a healthy marriage, a healthy relationship. I saw, conflict resolution. They would resolve, whatever the issue was. My dad respected my mom respected my dad, and they still do today. So I was raised in that kind of environment. Now, in school, I was bullied. I was bullied in middle school quite heavily, in elementary school as well. But, my parents, they stepped in and got the school officials involved, and, that was resolved. But, as I progressed through elementary school, middle school, high school, I was, I excelled in school. Academics, I loved to read, loved school. School really, it was challenging, but it wasn't impossible for me. So, I went on and I went on to Kent State University. That's where I did my bachelor's degree in biological sciences. And that is what was a major turning point in my life. And parents, I want you to listen to this part, because this is what, your teens, your middle schoolers, your high schoolers, this is what they're heading towards. When you get to college, the environment is so much different from, when they're in your community, where they are now. You know everybody, or you know a lot of people in your personal community. But when you get to college, parents, your teens' eyes are going to be opened and aware of so many different cultures and belief systems and just all types of people, all types of, just everything is different. And, that's a time really where your teens are starting to define who they are. They're starting to learn about themselves, what makes them tick, what makes them angry, what buttons do they have, how to work with people, conflict resolution, how to deal with perhaps a crazy roommate, or, how to strengthen a relationship with a roommate. Or perhaps they're, starting to date. Maybe, they're just wanting to, have more friends, and they're starting to learn about people and, and how to trust people and, what is a friend. So all these things are going on in the midst of getting a college degree, and in the midst of the stress, that comes with the college environment. So in the midst of this, it's very easy, parents, even though, you've obviously, you've taught your teens well, you've taught them how to treat people, how to love and respect people, and how to stand in who they are and stand strong in their beliefs. It's very easy when they get onto a college campus to be swayed. They can be influenced, because the peer pressure is there. And then when you have the stress from school on top of the stress from trying to acclimate or adjust to the college environment, on top of trying to be friends, trying to be popular, trying to find a place in this world, as people, as a lot of them say, and I said myself, it's very easy to say, oh, okay, so-and-so over here is doing this. So-and-so over here, they don't even go to class. They go to the student union, and they don't even go to class. So-and-so sleeps in and misses 2 classes a week. So-and-so's drinking. So-and-so, she's, on her second pregnancy or what have you. And so parents, I know that some of you are probably thinking, no, not my kid. I'm telling you, parents, it happened to me, and I'm going to share, some of my story. Like I said, I was one of those, I was very book smart, but, that's all I focused on, really with the college, the preparation experience. And so I wasn't prepared, for the social component of college. I was kind of a bookworm, growing up. I love science, so, that's what I focused on. But like I mentioned, when I got to college, I met all kinds of people. And unfortunately, I I just didn't know how to trust people. I didn't know what constituted a true friendship, or what an ideal mate. I heard my parents say this, and other family members would advise me, other good friends would advise me, but it's different when you're there. When you're in the midst of the pressures of trying to do well in school, and people are wanting you to conform this way, conform that way, it's very easy to do that. So what happened with me is I met several individuals, and I didn't realize it, but the relationships were very toxic. These people, they just wanted to take advantage of me. They just wanted to use me for, hey, hey, if I befriend her, then she'll give me the notes, or, if I say I love her, then, she'll do this for me, she'll do that for me. And so, parents, even in the midst of, hey, I'm doing great in school, I was still trying to define myself, and because I wasn't clear, I latched on to what I thought were healthy relationships. These were friendships, and one was a dating relationship. And, I latched on, parents, and in the beginning it was great. It was the blissful, it was the honeymoon phase, as we call it. But slowly, as time progressed, I felt drained. I was frustrated. The arguments, began to grow. And then, then the rumors are spread, and then it's like, don't hang out with Ashley. Let's isolate her. Let me belittle her. In the dating relationship, Ashley, you're so stupid. You're useless. Why are you so fat? You're not good enough. You're not skinny enough. You're not tall enough. You're never going to graduate from Kent State. Now, I know you're thinking, wait a second. You're the same girl that, and I've shared this in previous shows, started college a year early while you were a senior in high school, came from a great home, healthy relationship with your parents had a healthy relationship. How did this happen to you? How did you get entangled in this mess? Parents, this is what this show is for, and I'm trying to help you so that you can help your teens to know the signs and to strengthen who they are and to work on their self-identity and their self-esteem now, parents, now before they get onto college campus. And so this is why I'm sharing this. It can happen. I look back sometimes and I'm even like, whoa. But when you don't know who you are, parents, when your teens are not sure of who they are going to gravitate towards, whatever they're attracting towards them. If right now, if your teens are, you maybe you even have problems with this, parents. You see that your teens are maybe hanging out with the wrong people. Maybe they're starting to adopt some behaviors and practices that you haven't raised them to do so. These are toxic relationships, and parents, you have the wonderful, wonderful opportunity to step in and help your teens in this area, because I'm telling you, it happened to me. My self-esteem plummeted. Depression set in. My grades started to take a downward trend. In college, I began to doubt myself. Not to finish college, but just who I was. Was I worthy of a healthy relationship? I didn't think so at the time. I didn't think I was deserving. I didn't think that I was worthy of a healthy friendship, a healthy partner or a boyfriend. I didn't think that at the time. I accepted what I was told. And in essence, parents, I forgot and really still wasn't finished in that discovery process of who I was. My self-identity, at the time I didn't know I had one. It was rooted in what other people were telling me. And it was a cycle, parents. So let me tell you, anyone, displaying these abusive, really the verbal, anyone displaying these type of behaviors, they're not going to come out full-fledged, with the abuse. It's going to be subtle, parents, very subtle, so that it can draw the victim in, draw that person in, so that they can begin to, over time, adopt a mindset, walk on eggshells around this person or, whatever they need to do. And parents, that's what happened to me. I began to, and it wasn't working, but my pride, I have to make this work. I have to prove that I can be a good friend. I can weather the storm. I can change this person. Oh my goodness, that's the biggest misconception. And parents, I want you to share this with your teens. Let them listen to this replay. Is that you have to be confident in who you are. Parents, let me give you a tip right now, is you have to build up your team. Regardless of what's going on right now with your team, whether you guys have a really great relationship or you need to work on it, is build up your team. Affirm them verbally and in other ways. Take them out to eat. Learn about what's going on inside of their minds. Surprise them. Yes, you have to be critical parents. Yes, you have to discipline. Yes, you have to be, encouraging, loving, and all of that. But parents, take the time out with your teens to encourage them, build them up. Tell them that, hey, I noticed that you've been doing really well in this class. You're doing a great job. I like how you've handled this. You've been keeping your room clean. You've been keeping gas in the car. You've been paying your cell phone bill on time. Parents, just notice the little things, because you're going to help your teen to develop, and to know who they are. And I'm telling you, parents, and we've seen adults. You've seen the effects of people who don't know who they are. You've seen how their lives are. Their lives are in a rut. They're repeating the same cycle. They're attracting toxic people. They're becoming toxic people themselves. And so, parents, your teens are going to experience things on college campus, yes. But you want to help them to try to avoid as many of these roadblocks as possible. And so, parents, as I mentioned, I went through this. I know what it's like. It's a horrible, dark place to be in when you don't know who you are. You're trying to please someone who you can't please anyway, because it's not about you. These people, that abuse mentally, verbally, and physically as well, even though that wasn't in my case, it's about them. It's selfishness. But it's manipulation, parents, to make, to make the other person feel like I'm not good enough. And so, parents, that's why I'm telling you to build up your teens, and then even encourage your teens to do this. Tell them every day, because I do this every day, to say positive affirmations. And I still do this today. I'm worthy to be loved. I'm special. I'm wonderful. I'm a great person. I deserve to have a happy and fulfilling life. To say that every day, because, parents, once you say it, once your teens say it, as my life motto is, you have to think it. You have to say it. Finally, you're going to say it so much that you believe it, and that your life reflects that. Your life will align as it's supposed to. And so, parents, this is what I want you to share with your teens. And the second thing is here's the great thing. Once they begin to say who they are, once they begin to positively affirm themselves, you're affirming them, they will start to question those around them. Because the truth, and once you realize that, because that's what the truth is that parents, your teens are great people. Once they realize that, they're going to say, wait a second, I'm a wonderful person. I deserve to be in healthy relationships. They're going to be able to look around them and say, wait a second, that's not healthy. We need to either set boundaries or we need to cut this off. And parents, that's what you want to happen. You want your teens to be happy. I know you do. We all want to be happy, and we want to be loved and live fulfilling lives. So, parents, that's tip number one, is to encourage your teens to build them up. So back into my story. Because I was trying to impress people and live up to their standards instead of my own, I forgot what was inside of me. And parents, that's the next thing. Remind your kids what's on the inside of them. Your kids have talents and gifts and skills that are unique to them that only they can do. And so, parents, remind them of that. Because when you're reminded of your power, you use it. And that's what I eventually had to do. I had to cut off, and unfortunately, I am not friends, nor am I with that in a dating relationship. I'm not even with that person anymore. Because I had to finally figure out, wait a second, what's inside of me? I had to go back and ask my Creator. I had to ask God, what did you give me? What skills and talents do I have? I know I like to teach. I know I like to write. I know I like to help people. I like to encourage people. I like to affirm and motivate people. I had to go back to the skills and skill sets and talents that I have and realize my greatness. And parents, you can help your teens realize their own greatness. Because that is what's important at the end of the day. That's what's going to carry them through. They're going to say, wait a second, I realize my own greatness. I don't have time to deal with these toxic relationships because they're only going to hinder my progress. And, parents, I saw it happen too many times while I was in college myself. I saw students not finish college because they're so depressed, They're so angry, bitter, frustrated, dealing with emotional trauma from abuse, from toxic relationships, that they couldn't even muster up the strength to finish. And so, parents, you don't want this to happen. And I know your teens going into it don't want it to happen. And that's why I'm telling you to help them prepare. Share with them the realities. What I'm telling you, share this with them. So what I did is I had to take several steps, to get to that moment where I not only realized my greatness, but I had to walk in the power of the strength that I had to graduate. And so what I had to do is I had to realize the truth. I had to keep going back to what is the truth, what is the truth, what is the truth. And so right now I want to share with you some truth. Now this is from 2011. 20% of high school girls have been either physically or sexually hurt by a dating partner. Parents, this is huge. That's it, 20%. That's 1 out of every 5, parents. This is scary. Also, now this is the kicker. 33% of middle and high school students experience some form of abuse in their romantic relationships. Parents, this is while they're in your house. Middle school, they're in your house. High school students, they're in your house right now, parents. This is what's going on. And mind you, many of these teens think it's normal because they're watching TV and they're seeing unhealthy relationships, what social media is telling them, what the radio, the music videos is telling them. And even 25% parents of these victims say they've been isolated from their family and friends. They're not even sharing with you, parents. That's why I'm encouraging you to be open, to talk to them. Find out what's going on. Parents, let me give you some signs, and this is what happened to me. Parents, if your teens, let's say they're getting 20, 30, 40, 50 text messages a day. Let's say that they're all they talk about is this one individual, or they do whatever they say. Parents, these are warning signs. If you notice your teens are maybe depressed, if you even suspect it, parents, you need to pull in the resources. Don't let this go on and go on and go on. While they're in your house, parents, get them the help that they need. I am not ashamed to tell you, I still go to therapy. But from the dating relationship, it was so much trauma. And parents, actually, I share this. I wrote a book about it recently called Celebrating the Journey, Rediscovering Me. And in there, I really go into depth into what happened. But it was so much trauma, parents, I didn't know what to do. I said, I need to talk to someone. And, at first I said, oh, my goodness, I can't go to a therapist. I'm too embarrassed. But I'm so glad that I did. And I still go to my therapist to this day. And I have never regretted one visit. So I'm telling you, parents, if it's medication, if it's therapy, whatever you need to do, if you're noticing signs that your teens, or you just feel, because, parents, you have your intuition. If you feel that something is not right, parents, speak up and say something. Because you don't want your teens to carry this into college. As I'm telling you, there are people there are toxic people, they're on the prowl. They're looking, to push their agenda on someone. And so, parents, build up your teens. Share with them the importance now of knowing who they are, knowing the truth. And if they don't know the truth, seek it out. And, parents, you can help them. Help them realize what the truth of the matter is, that they are great people and they deserve to be loved. They deserve to be in healthy, happy relationships. They deserve to not be abused, So, parents, you can help with that regard because, these statistics, they're not going anywhere. And also another one that really shocked me is that teen girls face relationship violence 3 times more than the adults. Oh, my goodness. That is huge. That is huge. And this is the last one I want to mention. Is the majority, that's more than 50%, the majority of parents of teen victims are not even aware. And so this is what I'm stressing, parents. Become aware. And with that, I also want to mention this is also National Book Month. What's the connection? The connection is this, and I share this in my book, Celebrating the Journey, Rediscovering Me, is that I had to educate myself. And so when I finally left this abusive romantic relationship, I had to read up and see what are the signs. And I ignored them. And a lot of them I didn't know, but I ignored some of the major red flags. So parents, start reading up. If you're noticing what's going on, encourage your teens to do that as well. This is a crisis, parents, and we just, I'm encouraging you to really, to take hold of this and to really help your teens prepare in this way. We're not talking about this in college prep, but I'm willing to stand up, and tell you that, hey, I dealt with it. I was abused. But you can make it. And that's, at the end of the day, what I want you to realize is that because we have everything that we need inside of us, we can't allow people to make us forget the power that we have within. And that's really what I'm driving home here. And so, parents, I encourage you. It's a great gift. Again, to go to Amazon. It's on Amazon, Celebrating the Journey, Rediscovering Me. Also to my website, www.collegeprepready.com. Again, that's www.collegeprepready.com. There's a link called Celebrating the Journey. You can read the reviews more in depth into my story. I encourage you to get it for your teens. Parents, maybe you need to read it for yourself. I go through these experiences that I experienced in college, in undergraduate and my graduate years. So I encourage you to get the book, share it with other families that you know, because they need to know about how to help their teens not get into that, and not get caught up into that type of situation. Also, parents, I am so excited to announce we do have our Student Executive Academy open. So I'm helping all students, to navigate through this process. Parents, I know that you're busy and you want to find cost-effective ways to help your students get into their college and stand out among the competition. Check out my website. Again, there's a link called Student Executive Academy under the website, www.collegeprepready.com. Also, please email me if you have questions, info@collegeprepready.com. Also, I'm on Twitter. That's www.twitter.com/prep, the word for, FOR college. That's prep, the word for, FOR college. Also, I'm on Facebook. I love Facebook. I have a group just for you parents. That's facebook.com/prep, the number 4 college. Again, that's prep, the number 4 college. Also, parents, I do have a blog, and I do have some blog posts on there to encourage you and to share with your teens. You can click on that directly through the website as well. It'll say blog post. And so with that said, parents, I'm so excited. I really, I'm so glad that now I can stand in my truth and I can tell you the story, because I was ashamed a year ago, and actually this relationship went on for 7 years. But, I was ashamed to tell you guys I couldn't have done this a year ago. But I'm so glad that, I've got to get the message out. And if it saves one life, I'll be satisfied. So parents, share this with your teens, talk to them, build them up, affirm them. And also, I'm so excited because next week we're going to have another special edition with John P. Turner. We Do Big Things. And we're going to be talking to him about mentoring and what other things the organization is doing. That's going to be next Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So don't miss that. Share with your family and your friends. And take care. You guys have a good evening.